The polls close in about 2 hours and 5 minutes here in Michigan. Joining me now, Doug Koopman. He is a political science professor from Calvin University. Doug, you have been with us throughout the election season, and one of the biggest things we always talk about is Kent County, why it is so important in the entire country and how it's changed over the election periods.
Yeah, absolutely. If you would call Kent County anything, it's a slow trend probably to the Democratic Party. But people have come here, candidates have come here all fall. One, it's a great television market. It's easy to get into, and the television market then spreads to all of outstate Michigan. So you get all the parts of Michigan that really outside of Detroit.
Sure.
So candidates come, media comes, everyone pays attention to it. And it has all these demographic groups that are moving left and right towards Harris, towards Trump in the national story. So the whole national story is right here in Grand Rapids and in West Michigan.
Let's talk about the state's first in-person early voting and also the large number of absentee ballots, because I think many were surprised at how many people turned up for the early in-person voting.
Yeah, you had nearly half of the electorate has already voted.
Yeah.
And so election day is much less frenetic. There's much less busy, people are less worried, and then there's fewer problems because it seems very manageable all day. And I really think the Michigan Secretary of State and the county clerks throughout the state, the 83 counties, really deserve credit for planning well and making election day go smoothly. And really, it's election season now. It's really the last day of the election season rather than just election day.
Do you think we might see results earlier than we normally would in Michigan tonight?
Yeah, I think we will. Not only have we early voting, but clerks and local jurisdictions have been allowed to process those ballots. They've been allowed to sort them, check the signatures, verify them, and then count them throughout the day. So I would predict we might know something very late tonight yet, but certainly by mid-morning tomorrow morning, we'll have a pretty good idea how most races in Michigan have gone.
Now, you know, we're talking about voter turnout on this election day, especially in Detroit, and I was seeing that earlier it was a little bit lower than anticipated in Detroit.
Yeah, I think weather affects it now, and that's a concern for both sides. So sometimes, low propensity voters, and the Republican Party has their set of low propensity voters, they call them, in rural areas, and the Democratic Party has their set of low propensity voters too. So bad weather can discourage those voting. So that's a concern. If it's widespread bad weather, that's a concern for both parties. We'll just have to see how that goes.
And we want to talk more about, and you'll be joining us throughout the evening, about the House, about the state and the U.S. House races, because there are some big ones coming up on that as well. Yeah,
you look at some of the prediction models, and the U.S. House of Representatives party control is a 50-50 proposition, either Republican or Democratic. We really don't know. And there's 3 U.S. House seats in Michigan that are up. The 7th, which is Alyssa Slotkin, vacated to run for the Senate. The 8th, which is from a retirement. And the 10th, John James, is a Republican incumbent, but it's a very tight race down there. So those 3, if they all go in the same direction, they could also determine control of the U.S. House. Unfortunately, nationwide, we're not likely going to know about that for maybe even a week or so, because California has so many toss-up seats in the House, and they take a long time to count their votes.
Well, we look forward to talking with you throughout the evening and getting more insight. Thank you so much.